The human explorer, named Jack, walked slowly through the strange forest on the distant planet. The trees were tall and twisted, their leaves shining with colors Jack had never seen before. The air smelled fresh but carried a strange silence. As if the forest was holding its breath, Jack checked his equipment and called out softly, "Hello? Is anyone here?" But there was no answer. Suddenly, a soft sound caught his attention. It was a small voice. Weak and scared, coming from behind a bush, Jack moved carefully toward the sound, his heart beating faster. There, crouched on the ground, was a small, alien girl, no taller than a child, with big shining eyes full of fear. Her skin was pale blue and glowed faintly in the dim light. Her hair was long and silver, falling over her thin shoulders like a waterfall. She looked at Jack with a mix of hope and fear, but also something else, trust. Jack knelt down slowly, showing he meant no harm, and said, "Are you okay? What's your name?" The girl looked at him for a moment, then whispered, "I am Lyra." Her voice was soft and musical, like a song in the wind. Jack smiled gently and said, "I'm Jack. Don't be afraid. I will help you." Lyra nodded, but did not move from her spot, as if she was waiting for something. Then, suddenly, she stood up and took a small step closer to Jack. She looked into his eyes and said quietly, "You're mine now, human." Jack blinked in surprise, not sure what to say. The words were strange and strong, and they made his heart skip a beat. "Why do you say that?" Jack asked carefully. Lyra smiled a little, but her eyes stayed serious. "In my world, when I say this, it means I trust you to keep me safe forever," she said. Jack felt a mix of confusion and wonder. He had never met an alien like Lyra before. So small, so sweet, but with a promise so powerful. Before Jack could say anything else, a loud noise broke the quiet. Trees shook and leaves rustled as something big moved nearby. Lyra's eyes grew wide with fear, and she grabbed Jack's hand. "Tightly, we must go," she whispered urgently. Jack did not hesitate. He took her hand and started running with her through the forest. As they ran, Jack tried to understand who was chasing them. He looked around but saw nothing in the shadows. Lyra stayed close, her small hand warm in his. Her promise echoed in his mind. "You're mine now." The danger made Jack's senses sharper. He knew this was only the beginning of a strange and dangerous journey. After running for several minutes, they reached a small clearing. Lyra stopped and looked back nervously. "We cannot stay here," she said. Jack nodded and helped her sit down. He pulled out his communicator and tried to send a message for help, but there was no signal. Lyra watched him quietly and then said, "I must tell you why I am here." Jack looked at her, ready to listen. "My people are in danger," she began. "We are hunted by those who want to take me back." Jack's eyes widened. "Who?" "Why?" he asked. Lyra's voice dropped to a whisper. "Guess. I chose to leave, to find you." Jack was shocked, but also curious. Kay did not understand how or why she chose him, but he felt a strange connection growing between them. Lyra smiled softly. "You don't have to understand now, but I need you to promise to keep me safe." Jack looked at her small face, full of hope and trust. He took a deep breath and said, "I promise, Lyra." They sat together in the clearing. The strange forest around them, Jack knew this was the start of something bigger than he could imagine. The girl had made a vow that would change his life forever. "You're mine now, human," she had said. And those words stayed with him. Night began to fall, and the forest grew darker and colder. Jack built a small fire to keep them warm. Lyra watched the flames, her eyes reflecting the light. She spoke quietly. "There is much you do not know, but we will face it together." Jack nodded, feeling both fear and courage inside. The stars above shone bright in the alien sky. Jack looked up and wondered what the future held. He had found a lost alien girl in a strange world. She had claimed him in a way no one had before, and now, with her hand in his, he knew his life would never be the same. As the fire crackled, softly, Jack whispered, "We will face it, Lyra, together." The promise hung in the air like a silent bond. The unexpected encounter had become the beginning of a new journey. A journey full of mystery, danger, and hope. And so, under the strange stars of the alien planet, the human and the sweet alien girl prepared for what was to come. The sun rose slowly over the alien forest. Jack woke up beside Lyra, the small alien girl. Her silver hair shone softly in the morning light. She was still quiet and calm, but her eyes held a deep sadness. Jack looked at her and asked gently, "Lyra, why do you say I am yours?" Lyra sat up and looked far into the trees. "My people have a secret," she said quietly. "Humans have a power that we need." Jack was confused, but he listened carefully. Lyra explained that her people were peaceful, small in number, and, hiding from a dangerous enemy, they believed humans were strong, brave, and had a special gift. A gift to protect and save. She said, "I chose you because I feel your heart is good." Jack felt strange, but proud to hear that he didn't understand everything. But he wanted to help her. Lyra smiled a little. "There is more you must know," she said. She told him about the hunters who chased her. "They want to take me back to my home planet," Lyra said, "but I ran away because I do not want to be their prisoner." Jack's eyes grew wide. "Why do they want you?" Lyra's voice became soft but strong. "Because I hold the future of my people." Jack looked at her carefully. "How?" he asked. Lyra touched her chest gently. "I carry a power in me, a power that can save or destroy." Jack did not know what to say. He could feel her fear and hope at the same time. They sat in silence for a moment. Jack reached out and took her small hand again. "We will face this together," he said quietly. Lyra's eyes shined with trust. Her hand squeezed his back. A sign that she believed him. As they prepared to leave the clearing, Jack thought about the strange bond forming between them. It was more than just needing to protect her. It was something deeper. Lyra was not just a scared girl. She was brave, strong, and full of secrets. And Jack felt something new inside him. A feeling he had never known before. The forest around them was alive with sounds, strange birds singing, leaves whispering in the wind. Jack carried his gear and helped Lyra walk through the thick plants. Suddenly, they heard a rustle behind them. Both turned quickly. But it was only a small animal. Still, the feeling of danger stayed with them. Lyra looked worried. "They are close," she whispered. Jack nodded, his muscles ready to fight. If needed, he felt the weight of responsibility heavier now. As they walked deeper into the forest, Lyra told Jack stories about her people. She spoke of their peaceful home, their customs, and the great war that forced them to run. Jack listened. With respect, he understood now that saving Lyra was also saving a whole world. At one point, they stopped by a sparkling river. Jack filled his water bottle while Lyra watched the water glow under her touch. The power inside her was real and strange. Jack realized that Lyra was more than just an alien child. She was a living miracle. Suddenly, the bushes rustled again. Louder this time, Jack pulled out his small blaster, ready to defend. Lyra's eyes narrowed and a soft blue light glowed from her palms. Together, they faced the unknown threat. Standing side by side, a group of shadowy figures stepped out from the trees. The alien hunters had found them. They looked fierce and armed with strange weapons. Jack's heart pounded, but he did not run. Lyra stepped forward and said firmly, "You cannot take me back." The leader of the hunters sneered, "You belong to us." Jack moved to stand in front of Lyra, his blaster aimed We will not let you have her," he said with steady voice. The hunters laughed but did not attack yet. They seemed surprised by Jack's courage and Lyra's power. Lyra whispered to Jack, "Stay close to me." Jack nodded, feeling their bond grow stronger by the second. The hunters moved away for now, but warned, "This is not over." Jack watched them disappear into the trees. He looked at Lyra and said, "We have to be ready." She smiled softly. "With you, I am stronger." The secret bond between the human and the alien girl was growing fast. They were no longer just two strangers. They were partners in a fight much bigger than themselves. Jack felt a new hope rising inside him. He was ready to protect Lyra, to face the dangers, and to discover what this strange promise really meant. As the sun climbed higher, Jack and Lyra set off again. Each step took them closer to the truth, and closer to a future where their lives were tied together forever. The forest around Jack and Lyra grew darker as the day passed. The thick trees blocked most of the sunlight, making shadows dance on the ground. Jack felt a chill run down his spine. He knew danger was close, even if he could not see it yet. Lyra walked beside him, her small hand still holding his tightly. She looked around carefully, her glowing eyes searching for any sign of trouble. Suddenly, she stopped and pointed to the far side of the clearing. Jack followed her gaze and saw faint footprints in the soft soil. "They are near," Lyra said quietly, her voice tense. Jack crouched down and examined the footprints. They were large and heavy, not from any creature he had seen before. "They are hunters," Lyra whispered. "And they do not give up." Jack felt his heart beat faster. He pulled out his blaster and checked it, ready for a fight. "We need to find a safe place," he said. Lyra nodded and led him deeper into the forest. Through narrow paths she knew well. As they moved, Jack noticed strange sounds, the rustle of leaves, soft footsteps, and distant growls. He tried to stay calm, but every noise made his muscles tighten. Lyra's small frame moved quickly and quietly, showing she was used to danger. Jack admired her courage, but worried about how long they could run. After some time, they reached a cave hidden behind thick vines. Lyra pushed the plants aside and looked inside. "It's safe here," she said. For now, Jack followed her in and sat down. Still alert, inside the cave, the air was cool and damp. Jack took a deep breath and tried to relax. But the weight of the chase pressed on him. Lyra sat close and touched his arm gently. "Thank you for staying with me," she said softly. Jack smiled and said, "I promised, remember?" They shared a quiet moment, the silence filled only by distant sounds of the forest. Lyra then told Jack about the true power she carried. "It is called the heart flame," she explained, "a light that can heal or destroy." Jack listened, closely fascinated. "This power makes me special." "But also a target," Lyra said sadly. "The hunters want to use it for their own gain." Jack frowned. "We can't let that happen." Suddenly, the cave entrance shook as a loud crash echoed outside. Jack stood up quickly, blaster in hand. Lyra's eyes glowed bright blue, her energy rising. "They found us," she said. "Get ready." From the darkness, heavy footsteps approached. A group of armored hunters appeared at the cave mouth, their faces hidden behind masks. The leader stepped forward and spoke in a cold voice. "Lyra, come with us peacefully, or we will take you by force." Jack stepped between Lyra and the hunters. "We will not let you have her," he said firmly. The hunters laughed, but their eyes showed caution. They had seen something in Jack's courage they did not expect. Lyra raised her hands, blue flames flickering around her palms. The cave lit up with a strange glow. Jack felt heat from her power and knew she was ready to fight. The hunters hesitated, unsure if they should attack. Suddenly, the leader gave a sharp command. "Capture them." The hunters moved forward, weapons aimed. Jack fired his blaster. Hitting one hunter in the arm, Lyra unleashed a wave of blue flames, knocking several hunters back. The battle was fierce but quick, together. Jack and Lyra fought with skill and courage. When the fight ended, the hunters retreated. Leaving behind weapons and broken armor, Jack looked at Lyra, amazed by her strength. "You saved us both," he said, smiling. Lyra smiled back, tired but proud. "We are not safe yet," she warned. "The hunters will come again, stronger." Jack nodded. "Then we must get stronger too." Lyra's eyes softened. "With you, I believe we can." They gathered their things and left the cave. Moving quickly through the dark forest, Jack felt a new respect for Lyra. She was not just a scared girl. She was a warrior with a powerful secret, and he was lucky to be by her side as they traveled. Jack thought about the promise Lyra made. "You're mine now, human." Those words had never felt so real. He knew their journey would be long and hard, but with Lyra, he was ready to face whatever came. The hidden danger in the forest was only the start. Together, they would fight to protect the future of two worlds. The night was quiet as Jack and Lyra made camp near a calm river. The stars twinkled above, but the weight of their journey hung heavy in the air. Jack sat beside the small fire, watching Lyra as she stared into the glowing flames. He felt the need to understand more about her and the strange promise she made. "Lyra," Jack said softly, "I want to know the truth. Why did you choose me? Why say you're mine now?" Lyra looked up, her eyes shining in the firelight. She took a deep breath and began to speak. "My people come from a distant star system called Lyra," she said. "We are a small race, peaceful but hunted." For many years, Jack listened carefully, waiting for her to continue. She spoke of a great war long ago, where her people lost many. "We were betrayed by one of our own," Lyra said sadly. "A leader who wanted power and control over the heart flame, a power I carry." Jack remembered the blue flames she used in the fight. "That power is why the hunters want me back," she explained. "They believe the heart flame can make their armies unstoppable." Jack frowned. "But why run to me? Why trust a human?" Lyra smiled faintly. "Because humans are different. You have a strength not just in your body, but in your heart and mind." She told Jack that her people believe humans can bring balance. They saw him as a protector and a key to her survival. Jack felt honored but also scared by the responsibility. He wasn't sure he was ready for such a role. Lyra reached out and took Jack's hand. "Together, we can protect the future," she said gently. Jack squeezed her hand, feeling a strange courage grow inside him. He realized that her vow was not just words, it was a destiny they shared. Suddenly, the peaceful night was broken by a distant roar. Jack stood quickly, his blaster ready. Lyra's eyes glowed softly, her power stirring. From the trees emerged a giant creature, a beast sent by the hunters. The beast growled and charged toward them. Jack fired his blaster, but the shots only slowed the creature. Lyra stepped forward, her hands shining with blue flames. She whispered a strange word, and the flames grew stronger. Together, Jack and Lyra fought the beast. Jack's shots and Lyra's power worked as one. Finally, the creature fell, defeated. Jack breathed heavily, looking at Lyra with new respect. "We are stronger together," Lyra said. Jack nodded. "I believe that too." They returned to the fire, feeling closer than ever. The truth Lyra revealed had changed everything. Now Jack understood why the hunters wanted her so badly. He knew their fight was not just for survival, but for hope. Lyra's vow, "You're mine now," was a promise to protect and fight as one, and Jack was ready to keep that promise. No matter what came next, the stars shone brightly above, lighting their path forward. Together, they faced an uncertain future. But with truth between them, their bond grew unbreakable. The days passed, and Jack and Lyra moved cautiously through the wild alien lands. The hunters were always close behind, their presence like a dark shadow. Jack's senses were sharp. Every sound and movement warning of danger. Lyra stayed strong, her glowing eyes watching the horizon, ready for what might come. One evening, as the sun dipped low, they found themselves near a vast canyon. The walls were tall and steep, shadows falling deep into the crevices. Lyra stopped and looked out over the canyon. "This place is a test," she said quietly, "a trial from my people." Jack turned to her, confused. "A test? What kind of test?" Lyra explained that in her culture, those who seek to protect the heart flame must face a challenge. It was a trial of courage, trust, and strength. Only those who passed could truly stand by her side. Jack felt his heart pound. He realized this was more than just running and hiding. It was time to prove himself, not only to Lyra, but to the future they both shared. Suddenly, from the edge of the canyon, the hunters appeared. They surrounded Jack and Lyra, blocking any way to escape. The leader stepped forward, his voice cold and commanding. "You cannot hide or run anymore," he said. "Give us the girl, and you will live." Jack looked at Lyra, seeing the fear flicker in her eyes. But she stood tall and said, "I will not go with you." Jack raised his blaster and said firmly, "Neither of us will." The hunters attacked with weapons that shot bright energy beams. Jack dodged quickly, firing back with careful aim. Lyra's hands glowed with blue fire as she used her power to protect them both. The battle was fierce and desperate, echoing off the canyon walls. Jack realized that this was the ultimate test, not just of strength, but of their bond and trust in each other. He moved to protect Lyra at every step. She matched his courage with her own powers, fierce and bright. At one point, a hunter managed to trap Jack's foot with a net made of glowing energy. Jack struggled, but Lyra was there in an instant. She sent a burst of flame that burned through the net, freeing him. Jack smiled. "We're stronger together," he said, breathless. The hunters grew frustrated and more aggressive, but Jack and Lyra fought with all their strength and heart. Slowly, the hunters began to fall back, their numbers thinning. Finally, the leader saw the battle was lost and ordered a retreat. Jack and Lyra stood at the edge of the canyon, breathing heavily but victorious. Lyra looked at Jack with pride. "You passed the test," she said. Jack smiled. "We passed it together." The trial had shown them their true strength, not just the power in Lyra's flames, but the power of their promise and trust. Jack realized he was ready to face anything with her by his side. As the sun set behind the canyon, painting the sky in red and gold, Jack and Lyra knew their fight was far from over. But they also knew they were no longer alone. Together, they were a force no enemy could break. The ultimate test had been passed, and a new chapter of their journey had begun. The night was calm as Jack and Lyra found a quiet place to rest. The stars above twinkled softly, casting gentle light on their small camp. Jack sat beside the fire, watching Lyra as she carefully tended to her wounds. He could see the tiredness in her eyes, but also a quiet strength that would not fade. Jack reached out and took her hand. "We made it through the test," he said gently. Lyra looked at him, a small smile touching her lips. "Yes," she replied, "and you kept your promise." Jack felt a warmth spread through his chest. He had promised to protect her, to stay by her side. Now he knew that promise was not just words, it was a bond. A bond that gave them both hope and courage for the future. They talked quietly through the night, sharing stories and dreams. Lyra spoke of her hopes for peace, for a world where her people could live free. Jack shared his own fears and wishes of finding meaning in this strange new life. Their words built a bridge between two worlds, two hearts. As dawn broke, Jack noticed a change in Lyra. Her eyes shone brighter. Her energy seemed stronger. "It's because you believe in me," she said softly. Jack smiled. "I do, and I always will." The morning air was fresh and cool as they prepared to move on. Lyra led the way through a hidden path. Jack followed, trusting her completely now. They felt like a team, stronger together than alone. Suddenly, they reached a small village hidden deep in the forest. It was a place where others, like Lyra, lived quietly, away from danger. The villagers welcomed them with cautious smiles. Lyra introduced Jack as her protector and friend. Jack felt honored and nervous. He knew the importance of this moment. The village was a safe place, but also a reminder of what was at stake. He promised himself to do everything he could to keep them all safe. As days passed in the village, Jack and Lyra grew closer. Their friendship deepened into something more, a quiet love born from hardship. Jack admired Lyra's courage and kindness. Lyra trusted Jack's strength and heart, but even in this safe place, shadows lingered. The hunters had not forgotten them. One night, a warning came, a message burned into the village wall. Return the flame or face the end. Fear gripped the villagers, but Jack stood tall. He gathered the people and said, "We will not bow to fear." Lyra's power glowed softly as she stood beside him. Together, they gave hope to those who had little left. The promise was clear. Jack would protect Lyra and her people, no matter the cost, and Lyra would stay by his side, a light in the darkness. Their bond was a shield stronger than any weapon as the sun rose on a new day. Jack looked at Lyra and whispered, "You're mine now, and I'm yours." She smiled, her eyes shining with love and trust, and together they faced the future, hand in hand, heart to heart. The sky was painted with soft colors as dawn broke over the alien horizon. Jack and Lyra stood at the edge of the village, their faces calm but determined. They knew the final challenge was near. The hunters had returned, stronger and more ruthless than before. Their numbers were greater, their weapons sharper. They came to take Lyra back by force, to claim the power of the heart flame for themselves. Jack tightened his grip on his blaster. Lyra's blue eyes burned with fierce light. They stood side by side, ready to face the storm together. The hunters charged, shouting war cries that echoed through the trees. Jack fired quickly, taking down one attacker after another. Lyra's hands glowed with brilliant blue flames that danced and swirled. She used her power to protect the villagers and strike fear into the enemy. The battle was fierce and wild. Jack and Lyra moved as one, their bond unbreakable. Every time Jack was in danger, Lyra was there to shield him. Every time Lyra's strength faltered, Jack gave her courage. The villagers joined the fight too. Inspired by Jack and Lyra's courage, together they pushed the hunters back. The tide of battle slowly turned in their favor. At the heart of the fight, Jack faced the hunters' leader, a tall, cruel man with eyes full of hate. They clashed with weapons and willpower. Jack fought not just for himself, but for Lyra and the future they dreamed of. Lyra called upon the full power of the heart flame. The blue fire spread like waves, driving the hunters into retreat. The leader fell to his knees, defeated but alive. Jack looked at him and said firmly, "This ends now, with the hunters gone." Peace returned to the village. Jack and Lyra stood together, their hands still joined. They had fought hard and won, but more importantly, they had built a new life. Lyra looked up at Jack with a soft smile. "Thank you for believing in me," she said. Jack smiled back. "Thank you for trusting me." Their journey had changed them both, from strangers in a strange world to partners, friends, and something more. Their promise was no longer just words. It was a bond that would last forever. "You're mine now, human," Lyra whispered again. But this time, it is with love, not fear. Jack pulled her close. Under the alien stars, they knew their future was bright because they faced it together forever.